Hi everyone, I'm Bianca.
And I'm Rosina, and welcome back to
Twins in Stitches. Today we have a crochet tutorial for you all.
I'll be running you through how to make a Christmas stocking. This is a beginner's friendly tutorial, so let's get started. For this project you're going to need 3 colours of yarn. I use around 50 grams of white, which is the main colour, around 30 grams of green, and a very small amount of red, literally just a measurement to sew, so not much at all. And you also need scissors, a crochet hook, and a tapestry needle. We're going to start with the colour we want for the tip of our stocking. So this is just the bit that will be near your toes, if it were an actual sock. And we're going to start by making a magic ring. To make a magic ring, we place our yarn over our first 4 fingers, open up, wrap around and through, flip your fingers over, get your crochet hook, go in, okay, so under this first loop, go in and grab this loop up, and then remove this from your fingers. Now we're going to do a chain just to secure it in place, so you want to hold all the loops down, yarn over and chain 1. And this is your magic ring. There we go. That is your magic ring. Now what you can do is you can place your 12 half double crochets. Now a half double crochet means we yarn over, we go into our stitch, which is the gap. So yarn over, go into the gap, yarn over through, okay, yarn over through all 3 loops on our hook. And that makes 1 half double, so we'll do that again. Yarn over, into the gap, yarn over through, you have 3 loops, yarn over through all 3, yarn over into the gap, into the hole, yarn over up, yarn over through. And that so far is 3 half double crochets. So we'll do 9 more. So I've done my 12 stitches, and what I'll now do is just pull on this end of our yarn, which will close up our magic ring very nicely. We now slip stitch into the top chain from our first stitch. So do we see we have the chain here, right? So this is the first stitch we did, this V right here. So we'll simply go in and put both the bottom and top loop onto our hook. Yarn over, remember we don't use this tail end, we use our actual yarn. Slip stitch, we yarn over, go through and then go through down directly. I'll be using a stitch marker in order to know where my first stitch is. And let's start. So what I do is I identify my next stitch, which is the next V's, right? It's not these current V's because this is where my stitch currently is. So here we're going to now do 2 half double crochets in each stitch, so an increase in each stitch. So that's 1 double crochet, okay, and then we'll do the next into that same gap, the same hole there, another half double crochet. So that's 2 in that same stitch. We'll do that again into the next one. So half double crochet, we yarn over into the next stitch. And remember, we go through all 3 loops, and then the next one too. And then we do this around for the whole second round. That's 2 half doubles in each stitch. I mentioned our stitch marker. We want to place this on the top V of our first stitch. This is so that it's easy to identify the first stitch of our round, as it's often difficult to identify it. So just put that in, close it up, just so that we're able to easily identify this stitch. So I have gotten to the end of this round and we can see this via the stitch marker. Remove the stitch marker and we will slip stitch into the top stitch. Amazing. Now what we are going to do is our next round, which will be quite similar but slightly different. We will do 2 half double crochets, then 1 half double crochet. So like we did before, this is our first stitch, 1 half double. We can put in our stitch marker straight away. So that was 1, and then we'll do another stitch into the same gap, and then I said we're doing 2 half doubles, then 1. So then the next stitch just has 1 half double. We move on to the next gap, and that will have 2. 1 and 2. The next one just has 1, and the next one has 2. And we'll continue this until the end of our round. I got to the end of my round, and again we will just do a slip stitch. Now the rest of this is going to be very repetitive. So what we're going to do until the end is basically just do half double crochets in every stitch, so just 1. So again we put in our stitch marker just so it's easier to identify that first stitch, and then we put 1 half double crochet into each stitch, so no more increases. So we have done this until round 6. Because we were no longer increasing, it naturally folds in on itself, which is what we want. Now we're going to continue with the exact same format, so still going around with just half doubles and no increases, but I'm going to change the colour, so I'm going to change to white now. To change, all we will do is when slip stitching, we'll go into our stitch, okay? We will grab our other coloured yarn, which is white, put it onto our hook, bring this through, bring it through again, okay? Pull the green yarn to tighten it, and then we just continue like so. So we'll continue with just the white yarn, forget about the green. Okay, just like that, and you can pull it all so it looks nice and tight. There we go. And then we just continue around and around and around. I have now done 10 rows of the white, and now I'm going to be cutting the white yarn. I just did my slip stitch, so now we cut and we pull the yarn through. So we are now going to go ahead and make our heel, and to do this we are going to dedicate around 20 stitches to this, 20 to 22, so your heel should be slightly taller than around half of what you've got so far. That's just naturally how the heel shape is. So we'll go ahead and place these stitches in. I want my heel to start from this position, so I've just inserted my hook. We get our green yarn or whatever colour you want your heel to be, insert it, and we pull up. We will chain 1 to start, and we then just do a half double crochet into our next stitch. This is literally just going to be half double crochets until the size you want your heel to be. So we'll do half double crochets around until the corresponding part on the other side of our sock. I have done my first row of the heel, and now we work in rows. Turn over your work and do your half double crochets across until the end of a row, and all we're doing is going back in this row, back and forth for several rows. I have done 7 rows and I am ready to finish the heel. We first have to sew the heel together, so don't cut it just yet. What we will do is turn our work around and sew this. So all we will do is we will go ahead and do single crochet. So you get the first stitch from your first side and then the first stitch from your other side. Pull through, yarn over and pull through these two. Do that again, so your next stitch and the next stitch here. There we go, and we'll do this until the end. So now we have this situation, and we're going to go back to our white. We are going to start crocheting here and up, and this again will become a round like here. So what we're going to do now is open up our heel, put in our hook, bring our white yarn through, chain 1 like we've done before, and work into each stitch. So the stitches are sideways, so they're a bit more difficult to tell, but just put a stitch into each row. So we're doing half double crochets. I almost did a single there. Half double crochets. Try to be consistent where you put in your stitches just so that it looks neat. Sometimes you might put it in a bit higher up, a bit lower down, but the more consistent you are, the neater it looks. And now we're at the stage where we then go into our white stitches. So we are moving away from the heel. And we continue to do our half double crochets, just like before. So we go around. We're now around to our other side, so then we just go ahead and place in our stitch. And then we go into the green stitches too. And then we go around and continue working around and up, and our stocking will be done. So I have now finished the part of white that I want to do at the top of this stocking. And I'm going to swap back to green just to finish off at the top, which I think will give it a very lovely look. So we go ahead and we do our slip stitch like before. Remember, we're going to attach the green yarn. This is the way we change colour. Chain 1, pull to secure. So I'm going to go ahead and continue doing the half double crochets. And I'll do a few rows of this. I'm aiming for around 3 to 4 just to finish it off at the top. So our half doubles just in green, the exact same as before. Amazing, so I just finished the green. I ended up doing 6 rows it was with the green, and this is the stocking. Now this final step is completely optional, but I'm going to put a letter R so I know that it's mine. Note that I also have already woven in all the ends. If you're not sure how to do that, check out our How to Crochet for Beginners video, that will be in the description box below. Thread your needle with the yarn you want to do your letter in. After you have threaded your needle, we're going to go ahead and double up on this yarn. My red yarn is actually a bit thinner than the white, so it's very important to double up so we're able to see it. Go ahead and put your needle in to where you want it to start. So I want my R to start around here, so I'll go ahead and put my needle in here from the other side, right? So poking outwards. So we'll shuffle this in. This can be quite finicky, I must admit, but it is pretty much the only way to do this. So I'll do it a bit further down. So that's going to start over there. Right? Okay. There we go. And now we'll start. So I'm going to do stitches up. I'm going to go to the next stitch here. But honestly, it doesn't have to be into stitches. You can do it into, like, it doesn't have to be into the gaps of stitches. It can be more into just the stitches themselves. So this is my first post. And now we're going to go ahead and go again. So we'll go in. I will be doing a back stitch, so I've just gone in. And now I'm going to go out in between the stitch we just did. Okay. And then we're going to go up again into our next gap. Pull this up. And this is what it looks like right now. Alright, so we like the look of that. And we'll continue this up and around and however we want it to look. So again, put it through the middle of a stitch. Pull up, through, and we can continue this however much we like to make the front post of our R. So this is the first stick, and then we'll go round and through. Ready to turn angles now, and it's exactly the same thing. So now I want to go to the right, so all I'll do is go ahead and pierce through the right and bring this back in. Right, so this is our first one to the right, and then I can continue in the letter I want. So I have now finished sewing on the R. I'm really happy with how it looks. I ended up going back and forth a few times, especially on certain strokes, just so they all looked a bit thicker. And I also added a little hook just by sewing on some thread. And that is the stocking done.
So now you know how to make a lovely Christmas stocking.
Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you made one yourself. We will see you next time.
Bye!